DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Now, I know a lot of you players, a lot of you are younger high school and college age players, but there are also a lot of you who watch my videos who want to play professionally or do play professionally, or even if you don't have aspirations or ambitions of moving up in basketball, maybe you just want to know what it's like, how it goes, what exactly is happening over there from somebody who may be more on the inside. Now, of course, you hear things from me. I talk a lot about things that have happened overseas, the D-League camps, the tryouts, playing in leagues and things like that. But I also, when I do these Q&A videos, the reason I started doing these so that you could hear a voice from other people who were involved in basketball in some way, shape, or form. I've talked to like video game guys, sneaker review guys, ball handling experts, people who do fitness off the court stuff. Now today, who I'm bringing you is a coach who coaches overseas basketball internationally right now. He is in Europe coaching a team. This man is a man who I actually met and worked with when I was in Slovakia earlier in 2013. This man's name is Coachrudeli. And Coach is going to give you more information on himself, but we worked together at the Euro Pro Camp, which is in Bratislava, Slovakia, in September 2013. I like working with Coach a lot. He's very intense when he gets into his thing. He put us through a bunch of drills. He was putting all the players through workouts and things like that. He had a great explanation of why we were doing certain things in the drill. See, it's one thing when you work with a trainer or something and they're telling you what to do. There's another thing when they're telling you you're going to do it and then they explain to you why exactly you're doing it and how it's going to translate to your game. I think that's very important. When you're telling somebody to do something, have them know exactly why they're doing it instead of just doing it because I said do it. You understand what I'm saying? Kind of like maybe how parents might be sometimes. I know mine was. But anyway, Coach, another great thing about him was after the games is he wasn't actually coaching us during the games. He would watch the games as he was there to help out and also to scout to see what players were out there. He would give a great assessment of us after the game. He kind of went player by player. Like I approached him a few times and asked him, like, what do you think of my game? What do you how you think I did in this game? What do you think of this workout? How I did in the workout? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And he gave me honest assessments of my game. We're going to get into that in this video also. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Coach Coachrudeli. All right, Coach, now I've given you an introduction, but I also want to let you introduce yourself, as this Q&A is so people can hear from you, not from me. First of all, tell us these first three questions before I get into these first three questions here, are questions I ask every single person who comes on here. So the first one is this. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and also what it is that you do on YouTube, what you do on the internet.
Hello everybody, my name is Coachrudeli. I'm a professional basketball coach in Europe. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dre, for thinking of me for doing this Q&A video. I think it's an interesting point what we are going to talk today. Okay, I'm going to start with my introduction. As I told you, I'm coaching in Spain, but in the beginning I was a basketball player. I born in Argentina and at the age of 5 began to play basketball in the best city for that. I played during many years in Bahia Blanca city, so I had the pleasure to grow up watching the best coaches and players of the country, and much later having the chance to share a court with a couple of them. Most of the coaches and players of the Argentine national team are from that city, so I think it's normal my love for basketball started there.
All right, Coach, knowing that this is a basketball-centric channel, you being a coach anyway, tell us about your playing experience. Have you actually played basketball? If so, where did you play? When did you play? Also, who are your favorite teams or team, and who are your favorite players or play?
Okay, talking about my favorite players and my favorite teams, I like players like Ricky Rubio, Manu Ginobili, Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker, superstars like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, a lot of big names. Talking about teams, Spurs, Dallas, Minnesota, those who has a couple of imports.
Now, only if this applies, Coach, what is your favorite Dre All Day YouTube video, if any?
Okay, Dre, let's go to talk about your website. I have to tell you I'm a big fan of your videos. I used to watch it. I like those when you explain some individual workout, some basketball move. And of course, I like when you explain how to do it and when to do it. I think it's really important for players who want to improve to watch this video. So congratulations for that.
And Coach, how did you get into the coaching and / training profession? How did you get your start?
When I came to Spain and stopped playing basketball after an injury, I began to study hard with the Spanish Basketball Federation for being a coach, with my objective to transmit my knowledge and experiences to all the players. I had experiences as a head coach in youth division and senior teams during many years. I've been coaching in pro camps and basketball camps in countries like Italy, Switzerland, United Kingdom and Slovakia, running clinics, workouts and special private training for players who want to go to the next level. I'm also involved in a project for players who want to play pro overseas, trying to help them to do the right contact in Europe. You can check my website for more details, Coachrudeli.com.
Now, you coach professional basketball overseas, which there's thousands of players in America who want to get over there and play for a professional team, just like the one you're coaching right now. So tell us, what is it you look for in an American player who wants to come and play for your team? What is it you need in that player in order for you to say, I want this guy on my roster?
Okay, now for players who want to play pro overseas, now and in the future, I recommend to keep working hard in fundamental skills in offense, on defense, your physical condition, and of course in knowledge of the game. Try to talk with coaches from all over the world, try to watch games from different leagues, try to learn from different countries. For example, do you know how many professional leagues are in Spain? How is the level in these leagues? Do you know, for example, in Italy, Switzerland, in the United Kingdom? I think it's an interesting point, and if you want to play pro overseas, you must to know more about that countries.
We got to ask, how's your club doing so far this season? What are your team's biggest strengths and what are your team's biggest challenges or weaknesses?
Okay, talking about my team, I'm coaching the senior team in men's division. I think our strengths and our weakness is the same because my team is a mix of players. We have a couple of veterans players with a lot of experience and a couple of young players. So I think it's a good combination for the future. We are doing great, we are working hard, so we will see what happens in the future.
Coach, what is your coaching philosophy? Do you have any certain principles that you always abide by no matter what the situation? And another question is, how much do you adjust or are you flexible with your coaching style or your principles based on the personnel that you have available at the time?
Okay, Dre, as you could see on the pro camp, I'm very strict and intensive coach. I want my players to work hard every single practice, every day, every week. We don't have time for relaxing. My job as a coach is to help players to understand the game for going to the next level. So I'm going to do my best always, but I'm going to speak the same. The most important thing for me is the discipline. I want 100% always. I don't want to see players who are not playing hard in practice and then they want to play a game. If you want to be a good player, you must to give your best always. During the game, my philosophy is clear. I want 5 guys in offense and the same 5 on defense. The team is a priority for me. Of course, everybody has a role, and you must do what the game plan say. And I recognize I'm not very flexible on that. If I want something, I want now. And I hate losing games, I want to win always.
Do you have any coaching idols or any certain coaches who you look up to or try to emulate in any way?
Okay, I always say I'm a mix of all the coaches I met as a player and as a coach. I'm always trying to learn from the best. So I can say names like Selko Bradovic from Serbia, Neven Spagia from Croatia, Simone Pianiciani, Ettore Messina, Sergio Scariolo from Italy, Aito Garcia Reneses, Cito Alonso, Joan Plaza, Xavi Pascual, Pablo Lasso, Pedro Martinez from Spain, Julio Lamas, Rubén Magnano from Argentina.
Now we get back to the players out there. What would you say is the best way for a player who's sitting in the United States right now who wants to start a career playing professional basketball? What are the best things they can do right now or in the future to get their foot in the door of playing professional basketball?
I had the pleasure to work with many American coaches from NBA, NCAA, and with a lot of American players. So I know your strengths and your weakness. If I want to sign an American player for my roster, I'm going to look for a couple of things. First of all, if you can score any time, of course, and the second and the most important for me, if you can play hard on defense. Do you know how to play man-to-man defense? Do you know different tactical situations? If you want to play at a good level in Europe, you must do that.
Now, Coach, when you have an import player on your roster, now for those who don't know what I mean when I say import player, that basically means whatever country this team is in, that means a player who is not from that country, an import. They imported that player from outside of the country to in the country. Many times that's an American, but it also can be a player from a different country. So, Coach, when you have an import player, what is it you expect from that player that you may not necessarily expect from the local guys, from the guys who are from the country in which you are coaching? Are there any different expectations for an import compared to the local player? And if so, what are they?
There are two parts from this question. The first part is try to understand what the coach expects from you and do it. And the second part, you have a life outside the court, so you must be open-minded and try to accept, understand the difference. Food, relation, schedule, weather, of course, if you want to stay there a long time.
Coach, what would you say are the biggest challenges for an American player who's playing overseas, period, and also players who come over for the first time? What are their biggest challenges?
Okay, let's go now to talk about import players. When some coaching staff, some directors, some club decided to hire an import players, it's a big expectation from all the city, from the club, from the press, from the coaching staff, from the rest of the team, because they want somebody who can help them to win more games, to win championship, to be better in offense, to be better on defense, who can fight every night for the club, for the city, and for the fans. So it's a big expectation, it's a big press for the imports.
Now, if a player is trying to jumpstart their career, would you recommend them to go to a professional exposure camp, maybe one in the United States? Maybe would you recommend them to go to one that's international? Why or why not? Now, Coach, this is a question that I get a lot of times. As I mentioned in the introduction, you coached and worked with me at the Euro Pro Camp in Slovakia earlier in 2013. When a player is attending their first professional exposure camp, what are the things you would tell that player to expect? Because a lot of players ask me, what should I expect at this camp, that camp? And they're not all the same. But what would you say in general players should expect when they attend their first camp?
Okay, let's go to talk now about pro camps, tryouts all over the world. There are so many in the States, in Europe too, in Asia. So I think it's an interesting place where you can meet different coaches and Asians too. You have practice during 4 to 7 days, individual workouts. You have time for playing games. So there are so many coaches and Asians looking for players. So maybe it's a good chance for you to show your skills, your abilities. So I recommend to go in the States for doing more contacts, and in Europe too. If you want to play pro overseas, you must to come to Europe.
As I mentioned a couple times, we worked together at the Euro Pro Camp in Slovakia. So tell all these people who are viewing this video right now, give them an honest assessment of my game, my abilities, my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities for the future.
Okay, Dre, honestly, I can do a full evaluation about your game. You played the pro camp as a power forward center, it was bad for you, but I would like to talk about the workouts. We did a couple of workouts together in offense, on defense, and I've seen you have very good fundamental skills in offense. Ball handling, dribbling, passing, shooting technique. I like your move when you go to the left, step back and fade away. I think it's impossible for the defender to stop that shot. So I hope you can find something in Europe because you are ready to play pro overseas.
Okay, so Coach, what are the best way for players? Maybe if there's a young player who's trying to learn the game, maybe a player who's just getting out of school who wants to possibly get overseas or learn something about playing overseas. What are the best way for players to get in touch with you? Are you on your website, YouTube, any social media, email? What's the best way for somebody to get direct contact with you?
Okay, to all the players, agents, coaches who are watching this Q&A video, if you want to contact me, I have a website, Coachrudeli.com, where you can find all my basketball stuff, all my basketball info, social media links, Twitter, Facebook, a YouTube channel where you can find scouting, workouts, and a lot of basketball stuff. This is Coach Coachrudeli from Europe. Work on your game.